Right, year 7. Hopefully now you will get to know a little bit more about how to make the program, and it can give you more motivation to create your own one. So first thing I'm using here is what we call a variable. Yes, I created a variable called scroll x. And you may wonder, what is a variable? And this is an important concept I want you to learn. So a variable is, imagine a place, in a location, I should say, a location in memory. Yeah, a place in the computer's memory. So it's the black box that you have in front of you, or maybe the tablet, or maybe the mobile phone. Inside there is a place we call memory, and in there we store some values. Yeah, why? Because those values will enable us, to use different programs. So variables like I don't know, think about in this case I want to know where I am in this picture. Yes, in this case I want to say, look, you're gonna be starting by the value 0 on the x, but you're gonna be moving along in here, and I want to keep those values in there, and we call it variables because those values change. Yeah, so in here you will start with, for instance, the score 0, and then as you go interacting with other characters, you will be adding more to your score, so that score will change. So that's what we call that a variable, because it changes throughout the game. So in here we created this variable and we called it a scroll x. Remember how to do that. You click in here, variable, and make a variable. Yeah, and in here you can type any name you want. Yes, any name. Yeah. Now, one of the things you need to realize in here is that the name has to be meaningful. Yes, if you put in there Tom it might be meaningful to you, but no one else. So you have to put something that is meaningful, friendly to other users. Yeah, in my case, for instance, I created this and I want other people to use it. So I need to put some names that people just by looking at that name, reading that name, can kind of guess what that variable stores. Yeah, so that's what you do. So let me just give you an example of this. In here I have these nice slides in here for you. Whoop. That works. So imagine that this is like a box. Yeah, a box that is somewhere, a tiny box hidden in your computer, hidden in your mobile phone, hidden in your tablet, your TV, in your parents car's dashboard, washing machine. Yes, when you change the program of the washing machine, when you change the channel on your TV, when in the car you're running out of petrol, all those things are variables. Yeah, but those are tiny boxes in there, and they have a label. Yeah, because it's better to have a label to refer to something. That's so you know. Because what they have is just a number, but you're not going to remember a number. Yes, it's better to remember a student's name or student's names where it will store the name of a student rather than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. What is that? So what the computers do is just instead of giving you the location itself where that value is stored, they give you a label. We call that a label, and that's the name of the variable. Yeah. And in here we keep the value. And this is a very important concept. This is like the brick, yeah? The brick to a wall, or that'll be like sugar to a cake, yeah? That's how important it is. So this is the variable. And the variable in here, you will find different variables in here. So in here, I will move by 5, by -5, and you may wonder, what is this part? So let me just tell you what this part is about. We're moving now from variable to something else. What is the problem I had to solve in here? The problem I have at this point in the game is to make this character walk. So how am I going to do that? So I want this character that when I press the right arrow key, it will move towards the right, and if I press the left, it will move towards the left. Yeah, and if I move up, it will go up, and if I move down, the arrow key that is pressed, the down arrow key, it will move down. So that's the problem I have. So how am I going to solve that problem? Well, let me just think first. Let's break it down. So we have in here 4 different problems to solve. moving right, moving left, moving up, moving down. So that's 4 problems. So I'm breaking down that complex problems. At the beginning, I don't know how to tackle into 4 different parts. Let's try to solve the first one. What is the first one? Okay, let's move towards the right. So how am I going to do that? Well, I want that, my sprite, I want it to move towards the right whenever I press the right arrow key. So let's have a look at the blocks in there. Do I have any blocks that will help you to do that? We're gonna have a look in here, and I find that in here I have a block, called if. That block can be found in, let me see, I'm gonna show you this. That block can be found in here. Let me see, in under control, yes, because I'm controlling in here the game. So I put here if. Yes, the block allows me to do something if a condition is met. Yeah, so let's think about an example. So if it is raining, like today, it is raining quite a lot. So if it is raining, what are you going to do? Well, maybe take an umbrella, wear a coat. Yeah, so if a condition is met, then something, happen. Else, if it's not met, something else will happen. Yeah, but let's focus on the first part first. If. So in here I have if in here, and this, if it is if is met, sorry about my, let me see, if I don't hide it, even better. So if, what that right arrow key is pressed, then I want first to move towards this position, 19. I'm going to show you what that means now. And I want to move 5 steps forward towards that direction. So what is that direction? Well, that direction is just this. If I click in here, towards that point. So I will move 5 steps towards there. Now, as I do that, I will change the costume. This is just an add-on for you to do. It's something nice to practice with, because this player have different costumes, yes? And in doing that, I simulate her walking, yeah? And so, right, so this is what it is. Now I solve one problem. So this problem now I can say, right, this one, this part in here, it is solved. Now, is it the same to move right than to move left? It is walking, So I can start thinking about pattern recognition. It's the same thing I can apply to a different move towards the left. So let's have a look in here. So if, same principle, so this is a repetition of this, however, I'm moving towards the left. If the left arrow is pressed, then I'm going to move -5. And let me explain you what the -5 means. So in here, when you do the scratch is based on this mathematical principle. Here you have an, wow, look at that, straight line, isn't it? So these coordinates, y-axis, so the y-axis, so the y's and the x, in here. So when you move towards your right, you move towards the positive x. Here is a positive x, here is the negative x. And here for y, you want to know, here is the positive y, and here is the negative y. So if I move towards that direction, it has to be a positive value. If I move towards the other direction, the left, it has to be a negative value. So there you have it. You have there -5. It will move towards the other side. Right, and now, first, breaking down the problem, 4 parts, and identify there is a pattern. What pattern is? It's the movement is the same thing. Left, right is just changing the value, whether it's positive or negative. But other than that, and the direction, other than that, is the same principle applies. Now, this is one of the main things you're going to be learning next year. If statement. We call that selection. So Remember this, if and variables. Those two are fundamentals. We're going to be covering a little bit more on the next ones, okay? Thank you for listening, for being there, and hopefully that will give you an idea of the basics of this computer game and should enable you to create your own. Thank you.